What is up, everybody? Welcome to another new show on YouTube. This will be our Book of Boba Fett breakdown show. Where we're just going to see how it goes and maybe move it eventually into like a Disney Plus review show straight to YouTube, specifically, and maybe the audio to our DU crew. And I am here with my two Boba loving co-hosts, Ryan and Alex. What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Hey, doing good. Boba loving.
It's not
Yes, yes.
Boba, but I have something Mando, so
Oh no, and I'm actually wearing a Mando hat. Even though it has the Boba Fett Mandalorian logo on it, but I do got my Geeky Tiki Shag Tiki mug. Boba. How do I know? Because it says Boba Fett on the back.
that's
So.
good. So in case you forget,
Yeah, absolutely. What was that glass, real quick, Alex? I know I've drank out of that one, I believe, but shout it out real quick.
I believe this one is from Blasphemous. And this is a Boba. And then, of course, like everyone else, rocking the Mando with that dark saber.
Nice, the Mega Man Mando collab.
Mega Mando, yeah.
Mega Mando, that's awesome. So like I said, this is going to be a test. We're going to check it out. We checked out finally the long-awaited Book of Boba Fett that just premiered on Wednesday on Disney Plus. Before we get to that, I'll remind you guys to subscribe to YouTube, hit the like button, hit the bell, all that good stuff. Adding a new movie to the collection of swag. I'll post it later, but Jungle Cruise 4K Blu-ray just added. And that'll be the last movie because I'll probably cancel.
I'm surprised you're not keeping that one. Did you already buy it?
I already bought it. I bought the Target one, so I bought it. So that's the only reason. But let's just jump into this. We've been waiting just over a year. So chapter 1 started, Stranger in a Strange Land, directed by the showrunner Robert Rodriguez, written by Jon Favreau, created by Jon Favreau. And one thing that I found out to be kind of strange was the main theme at the credits was conducted by Ludwig Göransson, who's done the previous Mandalorian, Black Panther, the Creed movies. But the rest of the score is actually done by one of his collaborators, Joseph Shirley. So kind of I don't want to say it's a big surprise, but kind of a surprise still as it is.
Yeah, I learned a lot about Ludwig. I've been started watching the This Is Pop documentary series on Netflix, and there's an episode about how so much pop music comes out of Sweden.
Yeah,
and sure enough, he's right in the beginning of it. I did not know that he worked on the score for Black Panther, nor did I know he produced "This Is America" by Childish Gambino. So,
yeah, very good. And he's a big, longtime collaborator of Ryan Coogler. They went to college together. And,
so he went to Sac State too?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, dang.
And then when they transferred, so
come back out to Sac, Ludwig. Let's hang out. Let's
exactly
listen to some music and drink some beers.
Exactly. But I'm all for that. But man, let's get into this. Like I said, we waited a year. We heard there's going to be flashbacks, and so this was pretty much a good two-story, or you got two separate stories that kind of blended together. Where took off after the Mandalorian, and then what happened clearly after the Sarlacc pit. So first of all, I'll start with you, Ryan. Just initial reactions to the Book of Boba Fett.
I thought it was badass. I think I messaged you guys like right after. But I just wanted to think I didn't know if you guys stayed up, but yeah, I liked it. It was a lot of fun. A little bit too much parkour for me, but everything else was great.
How much parkour is just enough parkour?
Yeah, exactly.
The Office episode. That's perfect amount. That's good parkour. Yeah, I love how they brought him out of the Sarlacc pit. I know it's connected to another story that you guys are talking about. That I've seen Parks and Rec, but I just forgot about that. But I'm sure you guys will talk about that. I kind of wanted to see him like fly out with a jetpack and like burn it, but that's
like
okay.
Like that famous comic cover, where he's just
yeah. But I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun. I love the stuff with the Sand Peoples. I hope we get some hot toys out of that. The one with the dreads look pretty cool. So
little predator sand person. What about you, Alex? First initial reaction.
Yeah, it was dope. I like how they had kind of the two stories going on, what with the flashback to, where he'd come from and what was going on in current timeline just after seizing control of Jabba's palace from Bib Fortuna. Um, uh, what Ryan was referencing, I had pulled it up what he sent us, but TikTok user Zach Mooney was quick to point out that the opening parts of Boba escaping from the Sarlacc pit went pretty much shot for shot as dictated by Patton Oswalt's character in a episode of Parks and Rec entitled "The Filibuster." And it's a great scene. If you didn't watch Parks and Rec or don't remember it, it was basically he's trying to do this filibuster so they run out of time and they can't get to the next order of business. But what was awesome about it is Patton Oswalt, real life human being, just continued on and on with this. Basically, I believe it was his idea for Star Wars Episode 7 prior to it coming out and how it tied in the Marvel Universe and all kinds of crazy stuff. And so there's a YouTube cut of him just continuing talking after they had cut filming on the show. I think it goes for about 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, it's a solid 8.5, almost 9 minutes. Yeah.
To the point that people on the internet even made a movie poster of what he was pitching. So if you get a chance, go check out that the Patton Oswalt filibuster on YouTube and who is it? Zach Mooney on TikTok had a cool little shot side by side of him reading it and then as it was happening.
Yeah, very cool.
I just so the little Easter eggs, like seeing the burnt out sail barge still there. Like I think it's you have to remind yourself that Mandalorian takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So it's not like we're all the way forward in episode 7, 8, 9, Skywalker saga. We're still, it hadn't been that long. So I am sure we'll get more as it goes on as far as what brought him all the way to getting his armor and Fennec Shand and ultimately the Mandalorian and that speculation of if we will see the Mando in this show. But yeah, the episode was great. It didn't really blow my socks off, but it was perfect to set the scene for what's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll throw a link into that video I shared with you guys about the filibuster because like one thing I like to note about it, and I think I wrote in the note was it was complete improv. It was not scripted, and it was just 8 minutes of him rambling, showing that, yeah, I'm Patton Oswalt. I am a nerd. And
that was nerd gold right there.
Yeah, there's some deep cuts, but a lot of stuff has happened in not just the Star Wars universe that he mentioned, but Marvel and what's coming in Marvel with the possibility of X-Men and Fantastic Four. So very cool. And at the time, like I said, only Thanos was teased at the time of this video at the end of Avengers. So now we've gone through the whole Thanos. But anyways, we're talking about Boba Fett, and I loved it. I love the beginning. I love the first scenes that we got. We got Camino. We got the Attack of the Clones. So just like tying in that he is a clone of Boba or Jango Fett, and just those quick, just to see that in live action, was really cool. And of course, seeing Finnick and the Bacta tank. I mean, I think that's the more he goes in there, that's where we're going to get our flashbacks. And I'm kind of going to throw it off here where it looks like, he's looking to for peace and being a respectable. But I think the more he flashes back, the more he's going to kind of be like, no, I'm a badass bounty hunter. I'm kind of going to flip it, So that's just my early thought. I thought it was a good introduction, but like you said, it didn't blow my socks off. It didn't like, that was the best, premiere ever. But I think as the show continues, it'll kind of build on itself. And it was a great beginning. And yeah.
Almost as Boba said, the show, he's trying to rule with respect instead of fear. And the show is trying to grab you with, a storyline instead of, big CGI. We got that sand creature at the end or whatever, and it was cool, but it was more about how that scene went down and what happened afterwards, at least to me, and the respect built there.
Yeah.
Do we know how many? Is it? It's 6 episodes, right?
7.
7. I hope the other ones are a little bit longer. This one was only 38 minutes.
Yeah, it was just under about 38, 39 minutes. I'm sure it's gonna kind of wave. You'll have your shorter episodes, and the end might be closer to like an hour or 45. So, and that's one thing I like about the Disney Plus here so far is you don't have that set. Every episode is 28 minutes or 35. They kind of jump around based on the story. So, I thought it was good pacing. But yeah, I hope some of the episodes will be a little bit longer, and I'll understand if some will also be shorter. That's how The Mandalorian was, and we're getting the same filmmakers, the same directors, for this. Which, like I said, it was nice to see Favreau is the main writer still, because he originally wanted to make The Mandalorian a Boba Fett show, but they're like, nah, I heard somewhere, I think it was a Resistance broadcast, that they wanted to introduce Boba Fett in Solo, and they're like, no, we got some plans for him later, so we don't want to continuity. But but let's go to some of your guys' favorite scenes. I know, Ryan, you mentioned the new look Sand people, Tusken Raiders. What was your favorite part of like that whole interaction with them?
Just it was just different. We've only seen one type of sand people, right? I'm pretty sure, unless in the cartoons or something. But it was new and fresh and different, and I know they like beat like that one, like beat Boba in the fight, and I guess Boba's like weak and tired and stuff, but I still would have liked to see him like, unless they're saving like his first like real big kick-ass scene for something like insane, which I get, but kind of would like to see him.
And I got that with the same thing, because to me that showed a younger Tusken Raider, kind of like at that edge of being an adult, a full warrior, or whatever. And so that it would have been like almost a trial to beat the stranger but not kill him or something. But I think the first thing I thought of was the Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, where he was with the samurai in their village, and he kept getting beat up by the one guy. But then until the end, he finally beat him, and then the guy gained his respect. And because I feel that, I mean, the first time we see Boba Fett in Mandalorian, he's wearing the black tunics. Then we see, obviously, that's where those Tuskens, they're wearing the black robes and tunics and stuff.
I didn't even put that together.
And he's got the gaffy stick, so it looks like that he's definitely welcomed into their tribe.
Okay, I didn't even put that together, but now it makes sense. Okay, so maybe we'll see him.
That's why we do these discussions.
See him like kind of join them, maybe.
Eventually, I think he'll earn his keep as he's healing. What about you, Alex? Favorite scenes?
I think that's coming, and I hate to go to the end, but it's to what you're saying. My favorite part was the end, and how he had this child Tusken Raider out there, kind of trying to use him to make his keep or whatever with the water. And they have this encounter with the sand creature, who Boba ends up disarming and killing. You got the kid going back to show all his tribe that he's defeated this thing, and then the father or the chief of the clan just kind of like looking at Boba and knowing and acknowledging, like, there's no way the kid beat him. You took care of him, and I respect you for that. So I'm excited to see where the relationship goes. And as you were saying, kind of how we get to that point where when we encounter him in The Mandalorian, he's basically a Tusken Raider, sans the mask and the language. I still can't. My favorite part of that whole season, aside from Luke Skywalker, was seeing Boba bust up those stormtroopers with the gaffy stick. So
yeah, I've got that hot toy on the way. I'm excited to pose it.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun little callbacks and Easter eggs, but my favorite part was that end and just that silent acknowledgement.
Yeah, just a head nod,
Yeah.
I kind of want to go back to the escape. We're going to jump around all over, and that's okay. I want to go back to the escape of the Sarlacc. I was shocked that that's where the whole show started, but I was excited because, of course, that's the one thing, besides Ryan, that we've been waiting 40 plus years to see, is how did he finally get out of there? And just that whole scene of, him being basically slowly dissected, then being smart enough to, make his way to the stormtrooper, grab his hose, get some fresh oxygen for a little bit, then, build up to being able to escape. I thought that was done super cool. And just, of course, a flamethrower. Always a fan of the flamethrower.
Did you guys know that stormtroopers had oxygen in their
Yeah.
masks?
Nice little. They brought it up in Force Awakens when Finn is telling Rey when before they get captured by Han Solo, when they don't know it's Han Solo, he was telling her to switch the gases that were leaking because the stormtroopers, their masks, they protect from toxins, not smoke. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that was a nice little. I don't know if that was a direct reference to that.
No,
but
smoke, not toxins, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
That
yeah.
makes sense.
So that was kind of cool that he was able to do that. So,
Cool.
Yeah, I love how they're linking, little, I wouldn't call it throwaway lines, but little parts of, the past. I think it's a line in Return of the Jedi, how they talk about, C-3PO is telling him how he's going to die from the mighty Sarlacc and be digested over like hundreds or thousands of years or whatever. So that, comes and plays again as to why he's still living there, I mean, I guess he would have had to eat or drink something after a while, but at least why he wasn't immediately ripped apart and digested.
Yeah. And earlier you brought up some of, we'll kind of go on some of the Easter eggs. You brought up some of them. And I think my favorite one or reference was the return of Max Rebo in a new bar.
Oh, yeah. That guy.
Yeah. And he had a new droid drummer, which we're probably going to see those at Droid Depot pretty soon at Galaxy's Edge, which I'm all for that. So that was a great reference.
Yeah, that was cool. I guess the part where they're giving tributes to Boba, it's been speculated that pelt we see is a Wookiee pelt.
Yeah.
Which is kind of wild. I mean, obviously no Wookiee we know.
Yeah. It's definitely not Chewie. Yeah. But that was a really mafioso type of scene of all the tributes. And I found out because I saw the name. So the main cast was in here was obviously Tamil Morrison and Ming-Na Wen, but one of the also other cast labeled was we saw Jennifer Beals. She was the Twi'lek that looked like the head of that house or casino, whatever it was. But we also got Matt Berry, and I don't know if that rings a bell to any of you guys, but that is
it's not the Matt Berry I wish it was, but from,
I don't know.
What is What We Do in the Shadows?
You're correct, sir. That was him.
No, it wasn't.
He did the voice of that droid that was leading the tributes, the one that we see at Ronto Raps.
That's who it was?
Oh.
Yeah, he did the voice of him. So
it's funny because that we rewatched Jedi, and you see that droid in the basement of Jabba's palace when they take the droids downstairs, and you got the kind of mean slave driver droid in there. You'll earn some respect soon. It wasn't him, but the other one, you see him kind of working in the corner.
Yeah, he was torturing the Gonk droid with the.
That's right.
And that's what's fun, and that's another one that he asked about. Another reference is he talked about the Gomorian guards. We could torture them so obviously he's a torture droid, and
also speculate that those are the same two Gomorian guards who answer the door when C-3PO, R2-D2, Luke Skywalker all come in the beginning of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. So that's a nice little reference.
Again. They lost weight. They look good. They're kind of cut.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I want those green guys as hot toys.
Just collect all the hot toys. So.
Yeah, the fitness Gamorreans.
Yes.
Gamorreans.
And they were still more muscular and bigger than the one that was in The Mandalorian season 2 that were fighting in the ring. Mm-hmm. Those look like anorexic kind of Gamorrean guards.
But I feel it kind of plays into the role of these guys because there was the question on whether they're to be executed or what, and Boba's like, you were loyal to your masters before. Are you going to be loyal to me? So I don't know. Maybe some of it. Just as I'm watching it, part of these are more disciplined guards than the ones we're used to seeing, who are just kind of, perceived as like fat slobs. You know, they do what they need to do, and then whatever after work. These guys are maybe a little more cut. Maybe they'll go off and be mercenaries at some point. Who knows?
Yeah.
Future mercenary Gamorrean hot toy.
Absolutely. And we kind of get a note or a little tease of who's going to be one of the main roadblocks for Boba Fett and Fennec, and that's the mayor, who refused to send a tribute, but demanded a tribute for being mayor, and which forced them to kind of go back to Mos Espa. Which, one thing that's kind of cool is you always hear it was cool to see Mos Espa again, because we really haven't seen it since Attack of the Clones. But we see that this is more of a bustling city, even after the Empire, and it's more basically with Mos Eisley, and we see him being the home of scum and villainy on Tatooine, where all the underworld stuff. Mos Espa is more of a busy, business town, and we see that in the what looks like a. I mean, the only way to say it is a casino / space brothel, and
that's what's up.
Yeah, that's what's up. So we get good little action, little drama. But you mentioned how one of your favorite scenes on The Mandalorian is when he beat up all the stormtroopers. Seemed to have a hard time against what some of the internet is calling space ninjas, the parkour ninjas.
Yeah.
So, do you think those are from the mayor or somebody else?
I definitely thought those were from the mayor, because that was after the tribute session, right? They went out.
Yeah.
But the parting question is, as you said, why did he have such ease in fighting the storm? I mean, I guess we can say, Space Ninja is greater than Stormtrooper. We could all guess that right off the bat. But also the fact that he's going in this tank to be, bring him back to health. What had happened since the end of The Mandalorian that had, debilitated his health so much, or maybe he had been away from it for so long that I don't know. But I think that's something else that we're going to find out more about in future episodes, as to why he wasn't as butt kicking as we had seen him previously.
Yeah,
I hope so. I feel like that's something like we could get left open ended on. I don't know. I hope they tell us what happened. But isn't it a direct? Doesn't this start right after Mando?
I mean, for the most part, the part with him and Fennec.
Yeah. So why wouldn't he was?
Although technically, it never really says that. For all we know, the stuff with him and Fennec could have happened before they came out and found Mando, right?
Possibly. We never really got a direct timeline on either one, but yeah.
So that could be something we learn more of later. Maybe the show ends with them coming up on Mando and the whole gaffy stick, meeting.
Well, it actually has to happen after, because he has his armor back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. But I liked where you were going with it, because
I know that. Yeah, that was
better.
Well, either way, that would be a weak plot hole. So I do hope that we learn more about it. And being that it's such a big part of him going in this tank and having the flashbacks, I assume that it's a big thing, and we'll learn more about it.
Yeah, I agree. And I kind of got this one question I wanted to pose to you. I'll start with you, Ryan. So we obviously have Fennec Shan as his right hand lady, sharpshooter, but she seems to be questioning a lot of his choices and moves, and kind of wants him to stick to the, basically the ruler, not not soft, I guess. And being that this is, I think I've heard Robert Rodriguez say this is like the Star Wars version of The Godfather, which I don't know if you've watched many mafia movies, but one of the big keys,
all of them except The Godfather.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say, one of the big keys of many mob movies is sometimes those closest to you betray you. Do you sense a betrayal? Maybe. I know we only one episode in, but it's okay. Do you think she might wind up betraying him at one point, or?
No, because he fixed her, and her insides are all no,
she's got robotic abs.
Yeah. So I don't think so. Because I kind of don't want to see. I don't know, a season with them two fighting isn't appealing to me. It just seems kind of it would just be a back and forth for a season, because it'd probably be at the end of this season she turns, right? And then the next season they'd have to like fight. So I don't know. I don't want her to, just because I don't want to watch that. But,
Just a thought. Yeah.
yeah. I hope he gets the lightsaber though in this season. I think that'd be cool.
like Luke, or just a rando.
Just a random saber. I saw some concept art going around that looked pretty killer, so I'd like to see that.
Like another flashback of, what would be super cool is if we saw flashbacks of some of the scenes that happened with him in the Clone Wars. So live action versions of him, like putting a hit on Mace Windu, and that would be kind of cool. I don't know if they would do that. That might be too much, but
then they'd have to find another Daniel Logan looking character.
Yeah.
Daniel Logan's a little old for that now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although he was noted in the credits, I guess, just from that scene of him from earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know. You bring that up, and at first I'm like, no way. But then I'm like, well, Fennec Shand is a pretty dope character. I just don't think she has the heat to be able to kill off a Boba Fett and not have fans totally turn on her.
Yeah.
That being said, as I think about it, I'm like, Tamora Morrison's no spring chicken. I don't know that Book of Boba Fett season 2 is promised. It almost feels like something that's written to just be like a set. Like I'm we were speaking, I'm starting to reconcile in my mind that Boba Fett may die at the end of this. Maybe not by Fennec Shand. I actually hope it be that this Boba Fett is teaching Fennec Shand the way of respect, and that maybe she becomes the one to avenge him going forward.
Mace Windu comes back and kills him.
And kind of taking all his virtues and adding that to her Assassin's Creed, if you will.
Nice. No, I don't know if they've announced that this is just going to be a one and done season. I know, like originally after they announced The Force Awakens, that they mentioned the standalone movies, which didn't have a name. They were the Star Wars anthology before Star Wars Stories, and one of the first ones, even before Rogue One, was a Boba Fett movie, and it just never happened. But I think with the popularity of the Mandalorian, this is the perfect vehicle for a Boba Fett. Just kind of like for I hate saying fan service, but basically fan service, to give them that Boba Fett we've always wanted. And, like I said, if he dies, but kind of like that, ride along in the right off in the sunset.
Sarlacc pit.
Yeah. Make up for that really shitty way of dying at Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
If Fennec Shand went forward wearing the Boba Fett armor or something.
That would be interesting.
I don't know. I hate talking about the end of Boba Fett here on episode 1.
I know, me too.
At the same time, I'm glad the thought has crossed my mind, because I feel like everything's been built up so much, with the little documentary they did for Disney Plus Day. And I mean, this is, I guess, if we're going based on screen time, the most popular character in all of Star Wars.
Yeah, I would say, because
popularity versus amount of time they're showed on screen.
Yeah, and it always goes back to like the argument of like going to the movie fanboys, when they're arguing about Boba Fett, and they're like, dude, Boba Fett, you can't knock him. He's like, he had a jetpack, so did the Rocketeer. Ooh, big deal, So it's definitely one of those big fanboy arguments that I've definitely had, throughout the years. And but I'm glad we're finally at a point where we do get a full Boba Fett show. And with the quality that we're getting on Disney Plus, it's cinematic quality. So, yeah, like I said, I think it was a strong start to what I think will be a really good season. And I think the episodes will be, as we continue, and we know the tone of everything, it will be a very, very good season. And but of course, since we're breaking down the episode, what would you guys rate this particular episode out of? We'll just go 10. It's easy to rate out of 10. So Ryan, what would you rate this?
7.5. 7.5.
Okay.
7.25.
What about you, Alex?
Solid 7.
Yeah, I'm there too. Like I said, this wasn't one of those, you know, Mandalorian the reveal of Luke Skywalker type of episode, or even Bo-Katan, her reveal, or even Ahsoka. But it was a solid beginning to a brand new show, and I give it a solid 7 also.
It's hard to rate things when they're incomplete as a story.
Absolutely,
but I guess if you try and just look at it based on the story, like I said, the ending was my favorite part. So
yeah, and Judge, it's hard to
solid, and only makes me more excited for what's to come.
Absolutely, and it's hard to judge, like you said, the first episode, kind of unless you're judging it based on what was already shown in The Mandalorian, rather than just a brand new show, which, the introduction of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian was a 9.5 in my opinion. That episode, the tragedy, where we saw Boba Fett in all those glory. So that's what I was kind of basing it on. But yeah, it's 7, solid, but still the excitement for the show is really great. I guess not really predictions, but little speculations. What do you guys hope to see, if there's any cameos, any storylines going on this season? I'll start with you, Alex, on this one.
Bosk. We've seen the Trandoshans, both in the trailer and in the tribute in this episode. I'd love to see Bosk.
Yeah.
Or at least some reference to Bosk by one of his cousins or something. Absolutely.
Well, we see in the previews, we see the meeting with them. So
the Trandoshan Godfather table.
Yeah. What about you, Ryan?
I just go Mace Windu just for fun.
Nice.
Just for fun. Yeah.
That would be cool.
Like metaled up and like fake arm and leg and some.
I've seen some sketches of what Mace Windu would look like if he was still alive.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty awesome. And Samuel L. Jackson would do it.
Oh yeah,
in a heartbeat. Sure. So, God, I don't. For me, I would have to agree with Alex with Bosk, just because that Usual Suspects lineup in Empire Strikes Back. You had IG-88 and I was gonna say Dash Rengar, Dengar, but everybody loved Boba Fett and they loved Bosk. So I would love to see that. And as a bonus, I think if we keep getting flashbacks, and because people keep talking about Han Solo, I would love to see the delivery of Han Solo to Jabba the Hutt. I think for anything, like I said, I hate the word fan service, but to see that and just the praise Boba got from all the criminals in Jabba's palace,
that would actually be doable too, because Han's in carbonite. Jabba's a puppet and Boba is masked. So
yeah,
I was just thinking about how that'd be hard to reproduce without the de-aging and stuff. But nope.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I think that's going to be awesome. So
yeah, I don't know if they'll go back any further than the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. So
that might get too confusing.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of is if it had to do with his creed or change of heart. Like maybe you see something in him upon this delivery or whatever that like didn't measure up with his now newfound morals.
Yeah.
But maybe not. I mean, he's just a simple man trying to make his way through the galaxy.
But during the show, Han Solo is still alive.
Yeah.
So we could just see him in the show.
Possibly.
Use the kid from the movie. Like the Solo.
Well, he would be past.
Yeah, he should be
Jedi.
Harrison Ford age at this point because it's after Return of the Jedi. If it were in current time, and if it were back in time, unless they went before the original trilogy, it would have to be Harrison Ford as well. A de-aged Harrison Ford.
Why can't they just use the kid that played him in Solo? He's older.
They would have to age him up because he was that's like 20 years before A New Hope, right?
Oh yeah.
About
10 years.
15. We'll just say 15 in the middle.
I guess he's aged up a little bit since then, but
I think we'd see him before we saw Harrison Ford. I can't see Harrison Ford doing a TV show.
No, yeah, I don't see it either. But
yeah, that's why I was thinking the carbonite because they could.
Yeah.
They could do it
I mean,
without-
I would love to see Alden Ehrenreich because I love Solo. I think it's a great movie, and I want to shout out real quick before we end the Resistance broadcast. They do the Mando fan show, and Lacey kind of brought up, and I haven't kept up with much of the comics lately, but basically, her prediction is Kira from Solo might show up. Just because her and Boba have a history, and these recent comics have come out, and they actually fought each other for the Han and Carbonite, and the parkour ninjas are actually kind of like the color of the Crimson Dawn style, like what would be your bodyguard. So she really mentioned it. You guys go check out their recent show and listen to the breakdown. It makes a lot of sense, and if it happened, I'd be excited to see Kira show up. But
I think
So
we'd
many
all
possibilities.
excited to see Kira show
yes, and of course, whatever ties into the Mandalorian. I call it the Mandoverse, what we have out now. So, yeah, very cool. Very, very strong start to a highly anticipated show. Any finishing thoughts you guys have? Okay, you mentioned the Ryan, the Tusken Raiders hot toys, of course. What else would you want to? What other hot toy would you like to see? So far, if anything that showed up in episode 1 or
Oh, the green guys.
the Gamorreans?
Yeah, the Gamorrean cards. I'd like a 2-pack of them to put, because I've ordered the Boba with the throne that comes out end of next year, and then have the guards behind him, and then have Finnick sitting on the side.
Yeah, hers looks really cool. Her
Yeah, you
hot
saw that?
toy. Yeah,
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, that's it.
cool. Well, right on. So,
On
I
to the
guess
next.
on to the next episode, which will be out just this coming Wednesday. We're going to plan on doing these on Thursday, possibly. We'll check work schedules. Like I said, we're just trying this out, but we might be going live for the future ones. But like I said, the audio will be going to our DU crew members, and we'll have a better introduction and outros. But yeah, we're in holiday mode still, so
Yes.
we are on New Year's Eve. So I'd like to wish all you
Merry
guys
Christmas.
a special Happy New Year. We'll hopefully see some of you guys at a celebration in 2022. And anything you guys want to add before we go?
Echo. Happy New Year to everybody. Thanks for joining as always, and looking forward as always to keep talking about things, especially for when we go live. We had a good time talking about Spider-Man No Way Home. A lot of people in the comments keeping the conversation going with us. So hopefully when we get these going live, we look forward to you guys showing up in the comments and engaging in the conversation, because it's always fun talking about Star Wars and Marvel and everything with friends.
Yes. Beautifully said. So,
Bet.
and awesome hockey stick. We'll have to reposition you so we can see your hockey stick later. So, but you guys have a happy new year. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit that bell, like this video, and of course, share it with some of your friends and other Disney, Star Wars, Marvel loving friends and family. So we will see you next week. May the force be with you always.